We're at Legacy Effects. We're here in the process of building Terminators. And once again, for me, this is a really neat thing because my first big movie, the first movie that I count, was the first Terminator. I've worked on all of them, and so it's quite an honor to be involved again with this. But what's pretty neat is to see the evolution of the technology that has gone into particularly creating these endoskeletons. And the rapid prototyping process and sculpting, digitally in the computer has given us a sense of symmetry and machine preciseness that is so different than how it was originally done when it was all sculpted by hand in clay, then molded, then all the pieces taken out, painstakingly hand sanded and redone. And you look back at it fondly because it was such an iconic character. But the precision and the cleanness and how we've created these things now is really remarkable.
When it comes to practical and creature effects, there is nobody that does a better job in our industry than Legacy. And the amount of love, respect, and brilliance that they brought to the project has been all of their work. Literally, there was no question to us that they had to be a part of this.
We were updating some of the look of some of our creatures. The T-800 endoskeleton is adapted a little bit, and they were so familiar with Arnold, which is a big part of it. He was the first fully body-scanned actor, I think, way back when they were doing it last time, so they still have that around. And just the use of prosthetics on him was always kind of flawless, and a lot of talk about how much can you damage Guardian, how much can you damage Arnold, you hang on to the humanity in this creature. They already had a vocabulary for that because they've been through it before.
This is the model that we received from client before any process. It's pretty elaborately modeled as is, but there's still a lot of stuff that is required to finish it to make it a viable, tangible object. This is the chest of the T-800, and it's basically broken down into logical parts for assembly. All the different colors represent the different parts that we have grown and how we've actually broken it apart for the process of building.
The final endoskeleton is made out of various kinds of epoxies and urethanes and rubbers, but that stuff is not self-supporting as far as strength goes, so we had to put a skeleton inside of that that's mostly made out of precision machined aluminum. This would be the spine, the neck. This is where the skull of the endoskeleton goes, and this is one of his arms. We don't know whether they're going to ever be used as puppets or not, but we like to set them up so that they could potentially be puppets, so all of these individual joints can lock off like a traditional rod puppet so that it could be performed on set if it needed to be.
So this is a special build for a stunt mask, but we did the full endoskeleton same way. Most of it was 3D printed in-house. I have up on the monitor right now the skeleton. It was real nice and satisfying actually being able to print something like this.
We're standing in the model shop. We do all the finish work on the rapid prototype parts that come off the beds. We do all the finishing of the parts as far as sanding the parts, sanding all the lines off the parts, prepping them for the molding process. And then once all these castings are done, they come back into here and the guys start doing the final assembly. And that's what Toy is doing here. He's taking the skull to the T-800 and he's cleaned it all up and he's putting all the final little details back in, including the eyes and all the parts that are needed to create this final piece. Nick is doing final assembly here on the arm. I would say there was approximately 50 pieces to this arm. So you can see here the fingers are articulated, positionable, and yet they're quite flexible, you can see here, even though they look metallic. And the wrist is also articulated, moved from side to side.
What's kind of neat about this one is that, all the other endos, from part 1, 2, and 3, all those were all chrome plated, and this one is just a paint treatment, which I thought was pretty neat. From head to toe, every little nook and cranny that you see in here has to get a black wash on it. And you can tell from where I did do it already, where it looks darker than where I haven't done it on the chest, which is real bright. And then wipe it off and just let the black settle into the lines. And that just pulls out, you know, all the detail. You get to see all the cool lines and all the nice shapes and forms a lot better when you have a black line defining everything for you.